Just when we thought we'd found every way possible to mount an antenna on a Prado, we've taken it up a notch. Let's take a look. If you're thinking about installing a UHF radio and an antenna, you may have noticed that we've got a huge range of antenna mounts for the Prado 150. So why would you mount your antenna here? For starters, it gets your antenna completely out of the field of view. It's tucked nicely behind the A-pillar, so when you're driving, you're barely going to notice it. It also allows you to run ditch lights on our existing bonnet aerial mounts, which allows you to run a much wider range of lighting when you're off-roading. It allows for uninterrupted movement of the mirror from the back all the way to the front. It's also compatible with vehicles that have puddle lights. So here we have the antenna mount, and we've slotted the hole here to make installation and changing your antenna much easier. Now, to mount the bracket into the mirror, we've created this billet CNC machine bracket, and it bolts into the solid structure inside the mirror, and then from there we bolt the bracket onto the mount like so. So we're going to install the antenna, and what we've found is the easiest way is to remove the mirror off the car. It is possible to do it without removing the mirror, but we found this to be the easiest way. So during the installation, you want to protect your paint. We're just going to put a bit of masking tape in there. So there's two ways to install the cable for the antenna. The first way, and the easier way, is to run it out the side of the door trim and into this grommet right there, and that will put the antenna cable inside the dash, and it's quite easy to access it from there. And the harder way, and the way we're going to show you, the cleaner and neater way, is to run the cable down the door and through the existing door loom grommet, and that will also pop out inside the dash down here. The next step is to remove the door panel. Give it a bit of a pull there to get it started. Okay, pop him off, and we have a Phillips screw there. So remove the door handle trim now, and the mirror trim. There's two Phillips screws here. And the lower one. Lift up and just pull. Everything just unclips like so. We have the power windows disconnect. There's just a clip on the top here. So I've just grabbed a stool here to support the door trim there, so we can just sit that there while we're working on the mirror. Next step is to unplug the mirror. It's just got a little clip there, and now we're going to undo the 3 10mm bolt nuts. Just make sure you grab the mirror before you undo the last one. So now, before the nut's undone, we can pull the mirror out. There is a little clip there, so it does take a bit of force to pull it out. So I'm using a pry bar to pop the trim off the bottom of the mirror here. So now we need to remove 3 T25 Torx bolts. So the cool thing about this antenna mount is it bolts onto the original structure here, which is quite strong. So the next part is we're going to install the antenna cable. We're just going to push back that cable there, put the antenna cable just on top inside there, and we're just going to push it through, just like so. Okay, that's us. So we're just going to install that mount right now. We're just going to get this cable and just push it out of the way here like so. And the mount sits in there. We have our 3 M5 bolts. So now we're going to mount the bracket onto the mount. There it is, nice and flush. Now that we've got the antenna mount on, we're going to mount the antenna itself. We can put the antenna cable through the slot there and put the nut on. Tighten that up. Now we've got some excess cable here, and we can just push that here while we pull it through here to adjust the cable to the desired length. So we're going to feed the antenna cable through the existing hole of the car here, and then the power mirror plug and cable through as well. Line up your existing holes, and in she goes. It'll just clip back in. So once we have the mirror back in position, we just reinstall our 3 M6 nuts. So the next step is to run the cable down the door and through the factory grommet into the cabin here. So I've removed 2 M6 10mm bolts here. So we can pull this out like so, undo the tape and open it up. Opening that up gives you really good access here, and you're going to feed your cable in here through the factory rubber here. Goes around the corner and into the cabin. Okay, so we're going to remove this trim here that's under the glove box, and that just pulls out like so. There's a plastic nut here which we turn anti-clockwise to undo, and that will remove this trim here. So you can see it hitting that spot there. So as you push, just massage him through and give him a bit of direction. So as we're pushing it, we're guiding the antenna plug into the hole where it enters the car. Once you get the plug through, you'll be able to feel it, and then Bob's your uncle. Or in my case, he's my father-in-law. There he is. Now, this may challenge you, but just be patient, and it's all good. It's not that bad. So from here, you can route this cable wherever you have your radio mounted, under the dash, on the center console. So now that we've got the cable installed where we want it, I've just removed the factory Toyota tape, and just taping it up with some electric tape to hold it in place. Yep. In there. One clip there, and another clip down here. Boom. And more tape. There it is, so tidy. We're just going to reinstall our two M6 bolts that held that in. Okie dokie. One there, 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 and another one there. It's looking pretty damn neat. Trim here. What you do is there's a hole there. You mount the top on first, you pull it down, and you tuck it in like that. Same deal here. Top in, pull it down enough, and it just clips onto the bottom. There we go. So now we're going to plug in the existing power mirror plug. Make sure you pull through any slack here, and that should plug in easily. And we'll also cable tie in the antenna cable on the existing loom here. Now remember, when you're cable tying, there's two types of people. People who cut the tabs off and people who don't. Don't be the person who leaves them on. Now that we have all the wires installed, we're going to reinstall the door trim. Don't forget to plug in your power mirror control. Now you want to line up these 1, 2, 3, 4 tabs, like so. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And just tap it all back in like so. So we're going to reinstall this door trim. We're just going to put the screws that we took out back in. Line it all up. Just carefully push it all back in. And then the door handle trim in here. Put the screw in first. Move the handle out of the way and just push that back in position. So we're just going to install our last mirror trim here. These two plastic clips, just push back in to the existing holes there. We're done. So now that we've got it on, I've just opened it up just so I can make sure that everything is perfectly in place, because some of these antennas have locating lugs, and same with the nut on the bottom. I'll tighten that up. It's quite surprising how stiff that actually is. That's our mirror antenna mount. For more information, you can check it out on kaon.com.au.